Memorial Day weekend. I'm ChaoticGood. This is episode 2, Schwab the Poopdeck. This is the letter that I posted to Reddit and LinkedIn and Twitter on Friday. The Charles Schwab letter with forced liquidation. I had somebody in my LinkedIn group send me a clip for Lou from Wall Street where he commented on it's the same letter that he was talking about in his video earlier this weekend. I don't want anybody to panic. I feel like there needs to be more context for this. I want everybody to know what to do if it happens to you. The letter is absolutely real. This was a cash-only account that didn't have any violations. There was no rules broken, nothing weird going on to where they would have, had been prompted to do this outside of a reason we can't know. Everybody that signs up for a broker agrees on the terms of service that brokerages can close your account for any reason at any time. They don't even actually have to tell you why. They're not under any legal obligation to tell anybody anything. And so the last time this ran up, there were a lot of people who had similar things happen to them. Now, this particular account did not have AMC or GameStop in it. It did have Block, which is another kind of stepchild meme stock just by way of the crossover investors. I feel like that could have been part of it, but we did try to find out what was going on. They wouldn't give any specific reasons why outside of the letter. I'm also going to repost the letter in the comments here, and I had some people come out of the woodwork after the letter picked up steam and it went viral, sending me copies of letters that they got from brokerages outside of Charles Schwab. Similar situations, circumstances where they weren't doing anything wrong, but they just had their brokerage decide to arbitrarily close their account for an undisclosed reason. Again, they are allowed to do this. It does not just apply to hedge funds that are shorting stocks, it applies to retail traders too. So I'm going to explain a little bit more about what to do if that happens. I mean, it sucks getting your card pulled early, but it's not the end of the world, or at least it doesn't have to be. This is not necessarily apocalyptic. I want to emphasize before we get into the doom and gloom here that getting your account closed early doesn't have to be the end of the world. There's going to be so many different things popping off all over the place that if you plan ahead correctly, if for some reason you do have your account closed because any number of reasons, make sure that you are on cash, not margins. Make sure that you're following trading rules. Do not give them a reason to close your account when we're basically going into the first week of June and what looks like the end of this thing. They could close your account just because broker liquidity is threatened. I mean, they have an obligation to protect the brokerage before an individual will stop in their group of investors. So basically, you want to imagine the squeeze as like Squid Game's red light, green light with the SEC and the banks. If you get knocked out early, you can move your gains to another asset class and wait for the next round. You won't, necessarily miss out on, a squeeze somewhere, but, you want to make sure that you move your money out of that brokerage before, don't wait until the deadline. Do it right away. That way you can post up somewhere else, decide how you want to divvy up your gains, and then go from there. I'm going to be posting more videos after this one. I'm going to try to do as quickly as I can. We've got a lot of things to cover. I am going to cover different types of assets that you can move your money to during a market crash where, for all intents and purposes, it should be okay. I don't want anybody to take this as strict financial advice. I have my own strategy, my own game plan. I can share, to the best of my experience, what I feel like the best options are. I cannot decide this for you. You have to do your own research. You have to look at everything from a personal investment perspective, manage your risk appropriately. If anybody tells you to hold to a certain number, they're not giving you the right information. Do not focus on numbers right now as far as the price is concerned. The name of the game here is to get out of the squeeze with all of your prize money intact. It is too much to cover in one reasonable length video. So please subscribe, like, share, make sure everybody gets this information, and then keep tuning back in when I have other videos posted. You should get notifications if you're subscribed. I'm hoping to reach as many people as possible with this so everybody can start formulating their own game plan, like I said, based on their own individual investment preferences. The most effective solution to the problem of forced liquidations on the retail side, like I said, it doesn't just apply to hedge funds, is to have shares across multiple brokers. You know, not everybody is going to force liquidate every investor of every stock, not all at the same time. It's going to be, like I said, red light, green light. So if you have your shares spread across multiple brokers, or a lot of people have been talking about the DRSing, you are giving yourself more seats at the table. So if somebody pulls a chair out at Fidelity, or a chair out at, TD Ameritrade or Schwab or whoever it happens to be, you still have your other seats at the table. You're still in play. But like I said, if it does happen, just take that money and move it to something else. Move it to silver, move it to crypto. There's still real estate. There's so many other things that you can move that money to sit and wait for another pop, another MOAS, whatever you want to call it. It's not the end of the world. It's not even the end of how much money you could potentially make if you leapfrog, if you double jump, if you make sure that you have a game plan before this happens. Something to be thinking about at all times is your end game strategy. Don't panic. You will make stupid mistakes if you panic. I cannot emphasize this enough. Okay, so here I've got the letter pulled up here. I'm going to read it to you guys. I'm also going to post a screen cap of it so you can see that too. I've got it linked in the comments. It says, dated May 26, 2022. This came overnight from Charles Schwab in San Francisco. Regarding the closure of Charles Schwab brokerage account number, and I've got this blacked out, obviously, for personal reasons. When you open your Charles Schwab account referenced above, you agree to abide by the terms of the applicable account agreements, your terms of service. Permits the closure of the accounts at any time and for any reason. Underline that, at any time, for any reason. They don't even have to tell you why. Charles Schwab is now exercising its right to close the accounts referenced above effective June 28, 2022. So, again, it's not that anyone has broken any rules. They are exercising their right to close the account at any time for any reason. If he was breaking a rule, like margin requirements or day trading rules, they don't even give you more time. They will close you out on the spot and liquidate you, and you're done. They won't give you, an extra month to continue doing whatever it is you're doing that they don't like. So that's how you know, number one, that there actually wasn't a rule violation happening here. And in order to facilitate the closing process of the Schwab brokerage account, again, we ask you to meet the deadlines. Because it's a cash-only account, they can't force liquidate you. That's why they're giving him this time to finish up whatever he's doing. That he's allowed to trade for X number of days, and then he has to be all the way out by the final closing deadline. So if you get one of these letters, do that thing. Transfer out, transfer to another brokerage. Split those shares up between multiple brokerages, even better. That way you know for sure you can stick in till the end. And again, we're getting here. So, okay, and so that's Charles Schwab. Okay, I had a follower send me a letter from TD Ameritrade and also one from Fidelity. I'm going to start with the one from Fidelity because it is a similar situation. Their letter's worded a little bit differently, but this is dated May 16th, 2022. Let me zoom in here. We've recently become aware of a public record involving you and your activities. In light of this information, we find it necessary at this time to discontinue service to your accounts. Effective immediately, your accounts will be restricted from allowing you to open additional securities positions. You are free, however, to close or withdraw any securities positions or cash balances that may exist. They don't want you doing anything on the phone trading, and then they go into information about IRAs and taxes here. So they didn't disclose what that public record was. The guy, from what he told me, he has good credit, so there's not like a bankruptcy or anything weird happening to where a public record, and it's so vague that they say, like, what is it? What public record? What are you even, but it could be anything. They can say that. They can be as vague as they want. They don't have to tell you what they're doing, And as far as whether or not they're specifically targeting, intentionally targeting specific stocks, it's something that just has to be proven later on after the fact in a lawsuit, unfortunately. This is from TD Ameritrade. After careful consideration, TD Ameritrade has decided to end our business relationship with you. At least they had the balls to say it, huh? This means you will have to close your account ending in blah, blah, blah. In the meantime, your account has been restricted to liquidating only, meaning you won't be able to make new purchases. Now, some brokers will apparently allow you to continue. Some of them will have restrictions. Some of them, or all of them, will have deadlines in this situation. They're asking you to do this by a certain date. And this letter from TD Ameritrade's from January 20th, 2022. You'll have to either liquidate or close your account by February 19th, 2022, or have a transfer in progress. They're allowing people to transfer out. It's like they're playing hot potatoes with certain stocks and certain types of accounts that could potentially at some point threaten broker liquidity. We saw what happened with them taking away buttons, but there was the Robinhood lawsuit that now has case precedent set as of, I want to say, this past January, to where you can sue them for taking buy and sell buttons away. I mean, they're not allowed to do that. So I don't know that they would necessarily chance class action lawsuits of the size that they would be, considering how many investors are in meme stocks. I think they're more likely to be sneaky and say, we're exercising our right to discontinue our business relationship with you, please transfer out. Basically, take that shit on down the road, bub. We don't want to pay for it here. So, but again, it's not the end of the world. It is not the end of the world. There's other things like silver and crypto. You can move your money elsewhere, somewhere relative safe, and ride it out, because we've got precious metals that have been manipulated artificially, manipulated by JP Morgan Chase. They got fined almost $1 billion recently over doing that. So a lot of gold and silver bugs have been saying these prices have been suppressed too. We're seeing massive amounts of algorithm trading and manipulation happening and across the whole market, across stocks, across bonds. It's happening in some places in crypto. I mean, it's the white collar crime is a little out of control, and it doesn't seem like the sheriff's real interested in doing anything about it right now. Unfortunately, it is going to cause an economic collapse. We can't just have fraud and constant illegal shorting of stocks, constant manipulation. I mean, just this upwards parabolic curve of, financial booming. It's got to come down at some point. And, the market conditions over the next week, first week of June, are looking favorable for this being a big pump before everything crashes for real. So stay on your A game, pay attention, keep your head on a swivel. It sucks if they pull your card early, but if you're split up among more than one brokerage, you shouldn't. It's not the end of the world. Like I said, liquidate, transfer, just be aware of the tax implications. If you liquidate, transferring is the best option. And I'm going to get more into capital gains in another video. But for now, thank you guys so much. Like and subscribe.